So one of my teachers, Robert Adams, he used to say, it's not in the words. It's in the space between the words. He used to invite us to relax into the space between the words. What's so lovely about the original language of silence and stillness is that there's never any quibbling. There's never any misunderstandings. There's never a better way. So here we are in these remarkable human forms. Lately, one friend who's coming here says, we are 90% bacteria and 10% human, but evidently the bacteria also loves stillness. Because otherwise we wouldn't be here. It seems like it has the majority vote. So one of my great pleasures, though I delight in movement and in color and distinction and in phenomena and the display and celebration of life, is I also love the unmoving. I love the substratum. And that's too small a word for that which supports everything, carries everything, animates everything in a wonderfully unmoving way. So each one of us is this substratum. Each one of us is the unmoving. Otherwise, we couldn't be aware of movement. Each one of us is already silence, embodied silence and stillness. Otherwise, we couldn't be aware of sound. So we attribute these talents and capacities to the senses, but those just amplify what is. So silence, aware of sound, the unmoving, aware of movement. That which is neither human nor divine, aware of those. And that which is neither awake nor asleep, aware of naturalness, an unconditioned naturalness. So occasionally the formless has trouble with form, like headsets. So it's kind of fun to turn around and notice inside or look a little deeper. Each one of us is this omnidirectional awareness and curiosity. And part of the play of unfoldment is just noticing the vastness of what is. In an instrument that amplifies perception, that's designed for heightened noticing. Each one of us embodied curiosity and celebration. So that which animates movement probably is unmoving. Otherwise, where would it get its juice? Just to animate galaxies and galaxies within. If you think of thought as a sparkling galaxy of intelligence and creativity. Everything requires an empty, open, uncluttered space, just to display itself. And we love that, looking at the evening sky. If you like snorkeling, oh, how glorious the colors are and the silence is underwater. So everything in nature is the celebration of what is. Now, under pressure, we've noticed things flare up in an attempt to uncontain themselves and return back to balance. And yet each one of us is ever the same. How curious is that? Ever the same, aware of ever changing. What a big view we all have. When I was younger, one of my first, or actually second, spiritual guide was Lester Levinson, and I used to ask him, "How are you?" And he'd say in this sort of like really deep, amazing voice, "Ever the same." And I'd say, "Ever different here." every moment. Like a new cast of characters. But it's lovely finally to notice, oh, there is something unmoving. And we can call it by fancy name, substratum, earth element, or we could call it me, I amness, absolute reality. It is nameless and has so many names. Yeah? And yet it's where we gaze from and experience from, perceive from, through this marvelous lens called the body. So we can open it up to questions if you like, or you've heard it all, you've lived it all, and it's fun to share and trade notes on what we're noticing. And you will speak about it very uniquely. Yeah. From the beginning of timelessness, sages have always shared their own experience and their noticing. And that's why it's going to be slightly different from sage to sage. Yeah. So if you want the mic, just raise a hand.
I kind of heard about non-duality from the Sedona method, or having done many years of that.
Yes.
And I'd heard about you, at least like somehow in the grapevine somewhere, somebody mentioned that. So I too loved Lester, and then picked up other teachers. So I've listened to a little bit of Robert Adams. Who else have you studied with or learned with?
Well, it's sort of like a tag team effort because we're all so stubborn. So if you're lucky, you just, one sage, if their body dies, another one pops up like a mushroom. So I went from TM to, well, actually way before that, lots of sort of est actualizations, Eureka, all that sort of thing. Then TM, then Lester, then Lester's body, and then Robert Adams. Yeah. Yeah, so I love the tag team efforts because if you miss one noticing, the other sage that you encounter that'll be their specialty. You know, so it doesn't matter nowadays. It's like a buffet, really, and you just follow your resonance. It's like, ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I've been told by Hale and many other people to pick one and not do the buffet.
But you see, there is only one messenger.
Of course.
So you did it right. It doesn't matter what flavor they show up at.
Yeah.
And really, the ultimate teacher, so to speak, is nature. Because, all of nature is saying, just gaze. Just root down and rest. Expand and enjoy and explore. So, following our own resonance is the tool of the modern sage. And you can't mess it up. Since we're already free, and the return is also handled by grace, you really can't mess it up, because I did try. You can't mess it up. It's so sweet. Guaranteed success, since you never left absolute reality. But part of the great play is informing that which is in form. And we need these instruments to inform the formless. Yeah? And it doesn't matter what our apparent path was. We could just be relaxing into the stillness that is golf and noticing the timelessness of the swing. Or it could be somebody who did long distance running and noticed how the field just uncontained itself, and then there was an absolute balance and serenity. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You go back there? Good to be with you.
Thank you. My question is, I can feel that sometimes, but then I lose track again. If you can share a bit about your process, or if you have tips to keep this wisdom. I understand that we all be successful on that because we never left it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to keep this feeling and knowledge more often than not.
Then, there's a shortcut if you honor your body also as stillness. Because what happens is it's the instrument that winds up again. And then we're not noticing substratum or stillness. And the instrument loves to wind itself up and unwind. It's a musical instrument. Huh? So we'll notice that. But if you honor your body is also not what it appears to be. Your body also is made of what Robert Adams called spaceless space or Brahman. Everything is made of it. And when this devotion and gratitude you have to stillness and wisdom turns around and honors its own embodiment, then there's an instant balancing that happens. Yeah? Just the way if you walk down the street and the body-mind is a little crumpled or occupied or overwhelmed, and a stranger walks by you and everything. So it's a much faster way than sifting through all the innocent misunderstandings inside. And if you just do Namaste, I honor the divine in you, dear body. I honor the divine in you, remarkable mind. And then also to your uniqueness, allowing sameness, oneness, to honor its own uniqueness as you. Can you feel the difference? Including your embodiment in the devotion. That's all it ever wanted. It was like, I'm here working full time for you. Could I get a little respect?
Thank you.
Yeah. And the unmoving loves movement. And relaxation is animating tension. So you can't get it wrong. So I think this gentleman had his hand first, and then James. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, so for me, perhaps to oversimplify, the journey began in training as a psychotherapist with science and such, and that sort of realm, and then into Advaita or non-dual, which for me led to a bit of a negation of sensuality and form. And then now through plant medicine.
Now you're back. I hope.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and I wanted to hear what you had to say. Now through plant medicine, reabsorbing the sensual, the earth, the fabric of form, and holding the space of non-duality. What can you say about doing that,
Well,
having both.
absolute reality is the ultimate sensualist. All life is made of intelligent sensuality. So it created contrast for itself in service to pleasure. You know, if you've ever been in an overheated room and then walked outside to the cool freshness, the whole body goes, oh. Yeah, same with a good soup or perfect coffee or whatever. So this that we are life, originally, honestly, it was about pleasure and love. Yeah? And wisdom is the celebration of the infinite nature of reality. And so part of the great circle is noticing form is formless. And kind of resting back in the space to kind of recover from phenomena. Oh my God, that was intense, right? And then it comes back and it just goes, ooh, everything. You can relax even into tension or overwhelm and find the abiding pleasure. Oddly enough, everything has that sensual, open, uncluttered, warm, no thing at its heart. Yeah. And, you know, you could spend a couple of decades just riffing on that. That's why some of the sages that really work the devotion and gratitude, they're all like grinning. And everyone's going, why are you so happy? There's nothing. They're going, ooh, yes. And there's everything. Mm-hmm. Well, wonderful news. Because it took a lot of work to create phenomena, so it's nice that somebody appreciates it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And up here, James. I don't know if you're still inclined.
Hi, Pamela.
Hey.
I don't know if you know the answer to this question, but I understand some teachers have a powerful transmission that can help expedite your spiritual growth.
Yes.
Or another way of asking is like some teachers have this Shakti pot that can help your Kundalini. Do you know a couple of teachers presently who are powerful like that now?
Yes, it's actually you. You're the resident sage there. So everything is presenting its longings to you. And we're kind of the last to know who we are inside. You know, we wonder why emotion, sensation, thought, when it's restless, comes rushing to us. Yeah? And we're like, but just you as whatever you want to call yourself are always blessing. Always. So we're just adding some awareness to that. Plus your openness is heated to 98.6. That's like a tropical island. So everything is going, I'm going to go rest within the James Island. And meanwhile, there's another movement from the conditioning saying, go away. Like it used to be in California, they'd see bumper stickers, go home. We're trying to clear phenomena to get back to unmoving open space, whatever you want to call it. But they're also trying to return, and they're using you to return. You are embodied open space. Yeah. And your atmosphere is heated. So just like our Earth's atmosphere, objects that come into your atmosphere start to shape shift. Can you feel it? Just a completely different, instead of like trying to bat everything out of the ballpark inside, which was one of my trainings. I did it for, 12 years, 4 hours a day. Next day, everything would fill up again. The ballpark was full. So that's why I like satsang, which is look within, find the essence of everything, and honor it. Yeah? So if you honor the great mystery of who you are, absolutely unique, with a felt sense of oneness, and then we just are including thought, emotion, and sensation, rather than trying to get rid of it, because it's actually also made of stillness. You cannot arm wrestle with the divine. You will never win. But you will fall down exhausted and then notice big space. Many ways home. I will. So transmission is increased when the instrument is relaxed. So an elephant in the wild will have probably a yummier transmission if it's enjoying itself than the elephant in the zoo. Yeah. So transmission is already there within you, but when it turns around and honors itself, doesn't everything start to open? So it'll just save you a plane trip. You could do it in your living room. Really? She says, I am that? Oh my God, let's see. I better bow first, just in case. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So everything is seeking you. Even the seeker wants to lay its bundle down at your feet. So anyone else want to share anything? No questions required. You are the answer to all those questions. Yes, Spencer G. Nice to see you.
So if the substratum or self-realization is always present,
Yes.
and I've heard that people who realize will say, oh yes, it's always been this way. Mm-hmm. So it's that way right now, right at this moment. I'm not noticing it because I'm paying attention to everything else that's going through it.
That's exactly. So because we are space or formless, we're not going to be captivated by ourself. We're going to be captivated by form. It's like, oh, wow. Yeah, so just notice that just for the billions of experiences, emotions, sensations, and thoughts that have swum through these little ecosystems, there has to be huge space. This can hold so many conflicting beliefs, and it keeps filling itself with wisdom and data and curiosity. And yeah, this is also huge openness. So even though sometimes we can close our eyes and it feels kind of cluttered inside, it's just mischief. If you bow to the clutter, you're kind of busting it. You're kind of going, are you formless? And it goes. So it is divine mischief. So part of the play is to be fooled regularly.
Oh, I am.
And so much creativity went into that. I mean, just perception alone can convince. So we're just honoring all the threads in the fabric of life that allow us to perceive distance and uniqueness and apparent separation. It was in service to love. Yeah. And the gentleman that spoke of sensuality, it's often helpful with two. You know? The warmth of the sunlight hits the skin, and then there's a So what if the great treasure hunt is well designed But the treasure is hidden the last place you would look for it. Since each one of us is humility itself, and then a sage comes along and says, you are Brahmin, humility is going to say, oh, nah. So we have to look behind I think of this as a theater. So if you look in the background of the theater, just in this moment, back behind your spine, on the right side of the chest, helpful hint from Ramana Maharshi. What's noticed?
Warmth.
Warmth, yeah. Unadorned, right? And it's not making a big show, right?
No.
Genius. Wouldn't be much of a treasure hunt if you go within and there's wisdom going, ta-da! There's compassion going, ta-da! But there it is, the meekest of the meek, just warm presence. Yeah. Always been there, always been looking out of those eyes. Now the mind has higher standards, so sometimes the standards will come in and go, that's always been there. So just thank it if it comes in, because it's the meekest of the meek. The great sutra is smaller than a grain of sand, larger than the omniverse. So often when we first notice what is, it's smaller than a grain of sand, which allows the seeking or this to be disgruntled. So I'm going to ask you a question and just say yes. Would that be okay?
Yes.
So is that good enough to be warm, intelligent, humble presence?
Yes.
That's it. That's it. And then this, you can also show this its true nature as well, just by honoring it. Because before we went to school, this was this absolute uncontained, sparkling, pure potentiality and curiosity. And then slowly but surely, ouch. So we're just inviting that also to open. Yeah. It can only know itself when it has a bigger view rather than that. Where is this enlightenment stuff?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, one more. Do we have time for one more? Okay.
About 10 minutes. So, what's your view on karma? Like, does karma make it harder to get that point, or is just one of these 1% of the thoughts and sensations as well?
Well, if it's true that we are 90% bacteria, I don't think bacteria has ever heard of karma. So it must be the 10% that's going, uh-oh. It's never good karma anybody's worried about, right? Gotcha. No, I wouldn't worry about that. No, karma is attached to the role as a sort of a history app. Yeah. So there's no such thing for true nature. No. Even though the Akashic records might disagree, but I haven't talked to them recently. Yeah, there's nothing can keep you from being who you are. Yeah. It's impossible.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Wow.
Wow.
So you talked about how school kind of sometimes closes in the mind.
Yes.
So what do you say to parents that have children that see that happening?
Yeah. All you have to do is that inner bow uncontains everything. So when you notice, if you have children?
No, but I like children.
Oh,
and I work in schools.
There you go. If you notice their brow furrowing, just do an inner bow to that. And you can give a hint if you're working at a school, just to say they don't have to concentrate or focus to learn. Learning, I mean, these are just pure curiosity. And the learning just is drunk in like orange juice. So you'll notice some of them, the body contracting, and you can just bring their awareness to that. Yeah, and it's no different. There's no judgment because we like the zoom lens and we like the wide angle lens. So you can just give them a hint, like, "Are you in zoom lens?" And go, yeah. How about wide angle, just to check out the information?
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all. You can't. So how much timelessness? 5. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Galaxies can be born. Yes.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi.
It's really lovely feeling to be here.
Well, likewise.
I'm wondering about the moments when the thoughts that come through the tropics start to feel agonizing.
Oh.
You know, the moments when it's like, you know, a severe isolation or abandonment or self-destruction.
Okay.
You know,
so those are actually not yours. Thought is asking you for kindness and clarity. Thought, you know, the crystallization of the human mind or consciousness, it's the one that's isolated and separate and feeling all alone and looking for the great return. Yeah. So if you're its friend, respect and friendship for the mind is what liberates it, not wisdom. Wisdom pointings liberate awareness, but this up here, it just wants you to be its friend. The root of the word freedom is the same root as friend. So you're just, this natural presence just turns around and answers the call of the anguish of the identified mind. And the anguish is not personal, it's actually group consciousness history that it's carrying that it doesn't need to. So you can invite it to look behind history and all functioning into that sparkling, pure potentiality it is. And it goes, oh, thank God, I don't have to hold all that history? No. And since everything's already free, even this one mind that we all enjoy and share and occasionally protest, it's already free. And you can sometimes tickle it or ask it, come on, who are you? How can you have so many sparkling star-like thoughts in your emptiness? Who are you? It likes being included. Yeah. So thank you for your presence. Thank you for feeding the unfoldment in all beings just with your love of truth. And these gatherings, they function like an orchestral invitation to all beings, even the ones that are just in survival and do not have the leisure to be curious or celebrate or look within. So thank you very much. Thank you.